Hey everyone, so I wanted to do a quick video of the new MAC palettes because I just filled one of these guys with some lipsticks. So this is the 24 well inserts. Now I think everyone, like the dogs on the streets at this stage, know that the MAC palettes have changed. These are the old ones. Of course they did the quads as well. Sorry, you have your quads. The quads still look the same. They're these guys and they've been see-through on the top for ages. So it was just kind of to follow on and make them all a bit more cohesive. So now the large ones are see-through as well. Now you used to get the palettes with the inserts already in there. And when I say the inserts, these plastic inserts that had the either 15 like eyeshadow wells, or would have had the 6 larger blusher wells, and that's how they came like that. Now a lot of people like to take out those inserts and then just pop in a few more eyeshadows. I always liked to leave the inserts in there. I kind of liked how they looked. So the new ones, these guys apparently are like as rare as gold nowadays. You can't buy them anymore and they're going for something ridiculous, like stupid amounts on eBay. So I don't know, a lot of people don't really like the new ones. I love the new ones, and a lot of people are trying to get their hands on the older ones. So the newer ones come like this. Obviously they come in a box, an empty box, and it'll say Pro Palette Large Single on the front. Not to be confused with the inserts, which also come in a box, and I know some people who've gotten the inserts by mistake, so be careful of that. Then it comes like that where it's empty. And just go ahead and stick in your eyeshadows or your MAC eyeshadows, whatever. You don't even need the inserts if you don't want to. Now you can get the inserts that used to come in the old ones that will fit that. So they look like that, where there's 15 wells for your eyeshadows. I didn't bother getting any of those. I bought 2 of the 24 well inserts, so that's these guys here, and they're more for obviously using for cream makeups or for lipsticks. Now disappointingly they weren't that deep. They're actually very, very shallow. The only reason I'm saying that's disappointing is because the palette itself is very, very deep. Like it's it would accommodate like your mineral baked domed like eyeshadows and stuff like that. So it is quite deep, so you would assume that it would be able to accommodate quite deep wells, but they just didn't go for that. You can buy a 12 well or the 24 wells like these. Now in Ireland the palettes, the new palettes, are €18 and the inserts are €8. So you're paying immediately €26, which is nearly €10 more than what these guys were with the inserts already in them. So you are paying quite a lot more, but looking at them from a professional point of view anyhow, I way prefer the newer system and the way you can get the different inserts and stuff like that. So far I have filled this guy with all of my reds. I have 2 left over there. I want to get Viva Glam one, and I want to get one of the Kate Moss for Rimmel lipsticks for here as well. I already have 2 other of these guys filled up, and I actually don't even have them filled with MAC eyeshadows. I filled them with some Inglot eyeshadows. So because the way the MAC eyeshadows work, the MAC eyeshadows themselves, like the refill eyeshadows, they're magnetized, and then the pan is just kind of like metal or whatever, so the eyeshadows would stick to the pan. Whereas the Inglot is the opposite way around, where that the palette is magnetized and then the pan themselves are just not. They're metal, so they wouldn't stick to this because it's just metal on metal. So I had to get separate strips of sticky backed magnet and put it on the bottom, and then I put it down. But anyhow, that's just to give you an idea of what you can do with those palettes, and 15 of these fit in perfectly, so I really, really love that. Now I probably will be using them more for these guys. So quickly how I melted these, I'll put pictures on the blog post accompanying so you can see exactly kind of how it looked during the process. But basically I did it very, very roughly. I lobbed off about just over half of, say, a regular sized lipstick bullet and popped them in. Depending on the lipstick I was using, it varied. And then I put them really roughly into the insert. So obviously the insert wasn't in the palette at this stage. And then I popped it into the microwave. I'm not the biggest fan of using the microwave for melting stuff. It's okay as long as you're careful with it. I wasn't that careful because some of the drier lipsticks, like the Maybelline 14-hour stay ones, and of course MAC's Ruby Woo, I shouldn't have been surprised at that because it's such a dry powdery lipstick, they have much higher melting points. So while other ones were near boiling in the microwave, those ones didn't melt. So me, like an idiot, I said, oh, I'll leave it another second and see do they melt. They didn't. So it warped a tiny bit there. You can see it's a little bit warped because I think 1 or 2 of the lipsticks there had such a lower boiling point to the rest of them that they were starting to do a bit of damage. So be careful if you're doing that. Then to melt down, and you can see that they look messy, they literally were not melted at all, they were still looked like the bullets. So what I did was I scooped them out of here, put them onto a metal spoon. You have to be really careful here, and if you're young, don't do it by yourself. Make sure you get either permission or help from your guardians. But I put the lipstick onto a metal spoon, and then I hovered the metal spoon with the lipstick on it over a open flame. So again, you have to be really careful, but over the candle, and then I let that melt. Now you have to be really careful that it doesn't bubble over or boil, so you have to, you know, burn. So you have to keep kind of stirring it around. And then I used my metal spatula as well to kind of stir it around. That helps it melt down. And then once that was melted, I poured it into the well. Like, was basically setting straight away again, so it didn't go on very smooth, but it doesn't bother me. I don't really care about it looking too pretty, because any professional will tell you your lipstick palettes don't stay looking pretty for very long anyhow. So that's how I did that there. And to fill up those last two, because I'm not going to stick it in the microwave again obviously, I will just use the candle and spoon method. The only problem with that is that you do waste a bit of product, because there's inevitably going to be some of the lipstick that sticks to the spoon. Even if you try and scrape it off, there's still going to be some left over, and that's like worth a few applications, but that's just the price you have to pay. So the only other thing really to say is that you can get the 12 insert ones as well, which will be bigger wells. So I think that would nearly be better for like cream makeups, actual foundations. And you can also get the palettes that look like this. Now this is a Japanese one, but the MAC one also comes with an insert, like a double-sided thing, where you can put in, say, like this, you could put in your 24 on one side and your 12 on the other side, and then it does have a separation. The thing is, when I was in London, first of all, I found it hard to get here because the Pro Store said they were out of stock. Now I managed to luckily get them in the Westfield shopping centre, because they had plenty there. But they said they were out of stock of these, like the MAC equivalent of these, and they wouldn't be in for ages. But that would be dead handy to have as well if you're a professional. And I've kind of gone off tangent here, but that's pretty much it. I just kind of wanted to show you the new palettes for anyone who might know about them. And then just in regards to other pricing, obviously I kind of know the MAC, or the Irish pricing. So the, like I said, it's 18 to get the empty palette and 8 for inserts. I think in England it was 14 for the empty palette and about €6 for the insert. So anyone, say from the USA or Australia or whatever, if you know the price of yours, maybe just leave it down in the comments below so other people who are maybe asking can look through the comments and find out, because I wouldn't know the international prices offhand. So that's pretty much it. I hope this was helpful, and go over to my blog, which will be linked below, if you do want to see kind of pictures of how the lipsticks kind of looked during the melting method, if you wouldn't know what I mean. So yeah, until the next video, I'll chat to you really soon. So long, guys.